Hello everyone, my name is Mark. I'm a sales associate at Bellevue Volvo. Volvo's been making electric cars for a while now. They had the C40 and the XC40 Recharge. And over the last couple of years, they've decided to make it more official with the EX series of cars, the EX30, the EX40, and the EX90. Well, today, they're going to be adding to that lineup with the EX60, and I am thrilled to hear more about this car. I've heard some rumors, I've seen a few pictures leaked, but that's about it. I'm really excited to hear more about this because I really believe that they've got a game-changing car that we're going to be hearing about today. So I'm going to go on, I'm going to watch this video about it, I'm going to share with you the highlights and tell you some of my thoughts on this car. And so I'd be curious to know kind of what your thoughts are. So feel free to leave some comments in the section below. And, let me know what you think about the new EX60. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. I'm really excited. So I'm going to go inside where it's warm, and I'll be back in just a little bit. And if you do like this video and other videos I have on my channel, please like and subscribe so that I can understand more about, who's watching and what kinds of content is interesting to you. It'll help me make better content in the future. So I do have some ideas and some additional things to put in. So without further ado, I'm going in where it's warm. See you in a few. All right, so I just watched the release of the EX60 to the world, and I have to say I am blown away. The technology they put in this, just everything about it is just amazing. They really did a great job of really raising the bar on what it means to have an EV. There's just too many things, of course, to talk about in this. They went over a ton of things. I'm going to give you some of the highlights of what I kind of got from it that I think are really important to understand, kind of share my thoughts on it. And then I'd like to hear yours in the comments below. So feel free to leave some comments on what you think about the new EX60. And I'm also going to put the link to the actual video where they released it in the post description so you can watch it yourself if you want. I highly recommend watching it. It really is worth it. So, starting from the top, range anxiety. So most cars, when you think about EV, you think about a short range, maybe 300 plus or minus miles. Well, Volvo has addressed that with the EX60. They're giving up to 500 miles. That is phenomenal. That's going to give you a lot of range. It's going to take a lot of that anxiety away from you. And when you do have to charge up, because, hey, 500 miles must have to have a lot of batteries, right? Well, they've addressed that by putting in an 800 volt charging system. Now you can still charge up with all the other lower voltages, the 400 volts, your 120 and 240. But with 800 volt, whenever you can use that at the various charging stations, it's going to reduce the time down substantially, and it's also going to keep the batteries at a lower temperature. And this is really important for longevity of those batteries. In fact, Volvo is so confident that those batteries are going to last you, they're now warranting the batteries for 10 years. That's 2 years longer than what the federal mandate is on the EV batteries and their motors. The dual motor system in this car is maintenance free, so you're not really going to have to do any maintenance on them, which lowers your cost of ownership. And this is a really important thing also for EV owners, since that's also a big concern that I've heard from my customers is, well, what's the cost going to be? How much are these batteries going to cost me down the road, and am I going to have to replace the motors? And Volvo is addressing that in very, very important ways. The batteries are being integrated into the car in such a way that it's more a part of the actual frame and not just as a component. And what this is going to do is it's going to lower the center of gravity, it's going to give more space in the car, and it's also going to help add some structure to the vehicle. And I think this is a really smart way of being able to approach those batteries. And speaking about structure, Volvo is also adopting more of this mega casting kind of concept. What this is so typically it takes maybe, say, 100 plus parts to make an assembly as for like part of the structure of the vehicle. They are now doing one single cast that's going to do the job of essentially what used to be in some cases as much as 100 plus pieces. And what that's going to do is it's going to reduce costs, and it's going to add better structure to the car. And on the topic of cost, What they're aiming to have these cars cost is about the same as what a plug-in hybrid costs you. So if you can afford a plug-in hybrid, you can afford an electric car now. And I think that this was a very smart move for Volvo, because I hear again from so many people, it's like, yeah, I really want to have an electric car, but God, they're just so expensive. You know, I can't justify the privilege of having an electric vehicle for the cost that they charge for them. And so this is going to make electric vehicles so much more approachable. They have 7 different like combinations of variations for this car. That's going to include like battery technology and of course trim levels. And you can kind of find all of those out on the Volvo Cars website, or you can come to me and I can of course run you through all of the different variations that you can get for these cars. What's really cool is that they are now offering them today. You can go and order one today. So come see me. I'm excited to start signing people up to get these. They're going to start building them in April, and they're going to be delivering them by summertime. So this means we can do this now. I am thrilled. I'm going to be speccing mine out pretty soon here just to see what mine's going to run me here, because I have to have one of these in my driveway at some point. Some of the other cool tech that they put in the car is the panoramic sunroof. It is now electrochromatically adjustable, so that if you are getting too much sun in, you can just, with the touch of a button, make it go a little bit darker. And that way now you don't have to have a cover that slides over, or to be able to pop one up like we do on some of the other vehicles that we have. They're just making it a little bit easier for you. The aerodynamics of the car is phenomenal. It's got a 0.26 drag coefficient, which is just so low. It's hardly a blip, when it comes to, going through the air. They have on the XC series, the cross-country series of the car, they have air ride suspension where you can raise it and lower it for better performance. It just makes the car so much more capable. Some of the other interesting things, the door handles. So they're going to open up very much like they do already on the EX90, so it's going to kind of come out. But they've done a lot of things to make them even safer. So normally, if you get into an accident, trying to open doors can be a bit of a challenge depending on how things have kind of worked out. And obviously crumples and pinches and things like that into doors and whatnot are going to make it hard to get out. However, these door handles have multiple ways of being able to function. So they have backup systems for electricity, for power, but they also have a mechanical component to it. So if let's say you lose power in the car, you are not stuck in your car. There still is a mechanical way of being able to get out of your vehicle. They've done so much more work on making it safer with those batteries and with those electric motors, giving better crumple zones in the front and the rear to keep the integrity of the passenger compartment inside. They've got a bigger area in the front, the front trunk area, with an electronic hood that opens up, but also more space, which is something that Volvo has been a little bit strict on in the past, but for safety reasons, they're now offering a lot more space because they're more confident about the safety structure of their crumple zones in the front of the vehicle. Excuse me. Some of the other things, the seat belts. They also made a major upgrade to the seatbelt. So as we all know, Volvo made the 3-point safety harness for us. So they were the ones that brought this to us, and they're now taking it up another notch. So instead of it just being a seatbelt that holds you in and that tensions up a little bit in the event of an accident, they now have tension seat belts, where depending on the person that's sitting there, depending on the type of accident that it's trying to prepare for, the seat belt will now tension differently to keep you safer, so that not only are you just safe from the accident, but you're also safe from the seatbelt, because the seatbelt itself can cause damage if it's not tensioning properly for the actual occupant. So this is a really cool thing that they're doing with that. They also are upgrading the audio in the car. They've got, in certain trims, they're going to have headrest audio, and so you're going to be able to get the Atmos experience. Atmos is a Dolby level of sound quality, and they're going to be offering that in their car. And of course, they're going to have the Bowers and Wilkins available to you if that's what you want as well. I highly recommend it. I'm sitting in an EX90 right now that has the Bowers and Wilkins, and I gotta say, it is just one of the most incredible audio experiences you're ever gonna hear. Highly recommend it. Some of the other things we've got, the cars are now going to communicate with other vehicles via Volvo. So whenever you get into a situation where, let's say there's a reaction that the car makes, or there's a collision, the car is going to send its diagnostic data from that to Volvo, and it's going to share it with the other cars, so other cars get to learn from your experience. And this is a really important thing to understand, because learning is one of the hardest things for a car to be able to do, obviously, especially if the experience is only what it knows just from its own experience. So we're going to be able to share this across the ecosystem of Volvo. And I think that this is going to make Volvo even safer than they already are. The navigation systems and the radar and camera systems are all upgraded. They're going to be much more observant. They're going to not only just sort of identify objects and potential threats, but they're going to react more appropriately, understanding when it's safer to maybe move around versus stop. They are going to detect more types of environmental problems that might come up as well, and just make the car in general a lot safer and a lot more observant of its surroundings in case you're not. Volvo is now implementing its technology in the EX60 that allows it to pull over and stop if you are just checked out. Let's say you're drowsy or you're too distracted. The car is going to take over and is going to stop you safely until you can come back to being present and available for driving. That's the main things that I think are really different about it. A couple other little things, I guess, some smaller things, like the rear seats are going to be very much like the EX90 and the XC90, where they're going to have 3 separate seats that will be able to move down. That way you can configure, like long items, to be fit into the back of your car a little bit easier, while keeping certain seats available. That's a really good one. They have their own in-house Hugin Core hardware that's going to monitor all of the cameras and the sensors and the drivers and everything else going on, and it's going to be the central core of of their safety processing of all the data and everything. I mean, that's kind of the main highlights of the car. There are so many other things that they have, but a lot of them, as important as they are, there's just too many of them, right? So we're not going to be able to cover them all, but some of these actually I think I'm going to cover in some other videos. So hopefully this gave you a pretty good idea as to how amazing this new vehicle is. I'm excited about it. I hope you're excited about it. Please tell me what you think about this new car. It really is something that this industry has been waiting for, and I'm really glad that they're releasing it. So again, my name is Mark. I work at Bellevue Volvo as a sales associate. Please come see me if you want to look at one of our other cars, or if you want to get one of these EX60s in your driveway. Be more than happy to help you find that perfect car. All right, so enjoy and drive safely.